All right. Good morning, folks. Hope you all doing well this morning. Today is the 16th of November, 2025. Um, Happy Sunday. Hope you all had a good weekend so far. And I decided to start today off with the radar loop here. Get my pen going. If you permit me here, sorry about that. So here we go, Mr. Pen. All right. So we have our rain on the west coast here with that system moving through. Looks like an occluded low here. This system's gonna move out and generally move up this way. Looks like we have a surface boundary, as you can see, with a cold front extending this way. Cold front. This is a dry cold front pushing through this way. Gonna cool down temps a little bit for the south temporarily, but more of an air mass change than really major cool down, you know. I mean, air mass meaning you can cool off some, but not a major change in air mass here. So kind of a weak high pressure at the surface there. You have some higher winds pushing in. After this cold front pushes through. And you can see the winds here, 20, 30 miles an hour. In general, highest winds are in this area, right? Let me switch to temperatures real quickly. Mostly in the 30 and 40s. To the east of the cold front and the south of the warm front. 40s, you know, and then the 30s. Maybe some lake effect snow possibly moving through here eventually. We'll talk about that in a few minutes, but we'll switch over to the radar real quick, take this off. Maybe some snow up here. It's not depicting it that well, but let's see. Let's go to precip type. Get my mug out of here. There we go. Switch it down. All right. Precip type. Yeah, you can see snow going on up there. Maybe some snow and rain there. Obviously rain in these areas. Maybe some lake effect snow there. Overall, you know, I'll put the composite back on. Hard to really see it though. Anyway, I don't know what happened to my picture here, but maybe it'll come back. um, so overall, oh, the temperature just updated. You know, pretty cold up here in the north right now. Teens, 20s here. It looks like there's a boundary. I don't know, you know, there's some kind of boundary going on here, but we have maybe the center of the Arctic high generally in this area with light winds, right? So we switch back to the winds. Yeah, generally light winds in that area. So um, overall, not that bad. But the California coast has really been inundated by rainfall, and it's going to be that way again. Excuse me, Monday and Tuesday. So, yep. So moving on to the current hazards here. You have a flood watch here in the California mountains with wind and weather advisory in the Mountain West for maybe some snow today. Along the Gulf Coast, we have dense fog advisories, high wind warning here in parts of New York, New Jersey, Maryland, Virginia, and right, and red flag warning as well. And some wind and weather advisories up here in the Northeast and into northern Great Lakes, and another fog advisory up here in northern High Plains. Current temperatures. Refresh this as of 7 a.m. Pretty warm here in the south, guys, right? And we saw the current temperatures a minute ago. I don't know if this accurately represents maybe some of these readings, but anyway, coldest temps up here in the northeast, Intermountain West into the north here, but otherwise pretty warm this morning, you know? I mean, look at that. Almost 70s for low right now here in Texas. That's pretty warm for this time of year. Change in temperature since yesterday. Refresh this a little bit. Cooled off quite a bit compared to yesterday. It was pretty warm here in the Midwest and Great Lakes area yesterday. At this time, cooled off quite a bit. Warmed up even more overnight here. The cold front pushing through will change that, of course. And, you know, cooler than yesterday on the West Coast with the cloud cover, rainfall, all that stuff. And overall, not a big temperature change otherwise. All right. Current cloud cover. You see what the cloud cover is. We kind of already know that along the West Coast. Some along the Gulf Coast with that dense fog, low clouds, and in the Northeast, and some clouds, maybe high clouds associated with the front pushing through. Current wind gusts. Let's refresh this. 7 a.m. 30 plus miles an hour in the higher elevations here in the Northeast, Intermountain West, and see right to the, this is probably where your cold front is. Wind's pushing through, right? Especially along the Great Lakes here and offshore. Or maybe this way. So, yeah. Observe snowfall in the past 72 hours. Highest amounts have been in the Sierra Nevada, the Cascades, into the Intermountain West here, northern tier of the United States, and into the Northeast. I had some past 72 hours. We change, let's try 24 hours here. Yeah. Most snow in the past 24 hours has been out west and a little bit in the Northeast, but otherwise not much here. There'll be some in the Great Lakes. Yeah. So, all right. So next we're going to go over the pattern coming up, and there's been a lot of talk about a cold push of air pushing down into December into the continental U.S. I'm not 100% sold on how that's going to evolve just yet. A lot of model uncertainty really further out, so we'll go over that and talk about you know, future temps. Everybody wants to know what it's going to be like on Thanksgiving. Getting the snow on Thanksgiving to be hot, whatever. We'll try to talk about that a little bit. And, you know, forecasting long range with any skill is very difficult. It's even more difficult to, I mean, we have trouble forecasting 7 days out, much less, you know, 3 or 4 months or a month out. So, to say we're going to have a major East Coast storm in a month, I don't know anybody with any credibility that would say that. You could say generally it'd be colder maybe, but that's about it. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but anyway, that's what we're going to go over next. So what I decided to do here is take all the ensemble guidance, right, and represent it here on the map. You can see down below here is different models, right? And you can hover over them here, and it depicts the different systems based on different models, right? This is the 06Z, so what time is it? 12Z. So I'll move forward a little bit here. So 12Z, it's about where we are right now. Pretty deep mid-level low here in the northeast, which is driving the weather today there and on the west coast here. And the mid-level flow is a good way to really get an idea how the atmosphere is behaving and helps reflect higher heights. Let's say this number here, 500 millibars, right? The warmer colors and higher numbers indicate heights in the atmosphere that are higher than normal, okay? So the higher the normal heights will likely lead to warmer weather, drier weather at the surface, okay? So 500 millibars again. You see the below normal anomaly here on the in the northeast, and you see how cold or the usually height falls, right, is related to temperatures. So um, cool air loft usually means lower heights, okay? So the deeper purples indicate that. So you see the anomaly here. So that's pretty deep, low, pressure, pretty deep mid-level system, a little bit weaker here, but still moving through the west, right? So we'll move this forward in time, okay? This is still in the EPS, which is the European Ensemble. This one gets even deeper here. Almost, it's deepening as we go through the day today, right? But it doesn't stay there. It shifts to the east and to the northeast, right? You have high pressure generally building this way, which is going to lead to warmer temps for most of the country, okay, except for the northeast and the Intermountain West here. You'd see height falls associated with that other. Let me back this up. The system right here generally swings through this way, and likely a surface low will develop, I think, probably east of the Rockies, somewhere in here, okay, and we'll go over that in a minute. But so move through time, weakens quite a bit as it moves over the Rockies, right? You can see maybe some embedded amid short waves here moving through, right? This isn't really high resolution modeling, right? So hard to really tell, but I know I'm getting real detailed here, guys. Forgive me, but I like to explain this, especially on the weekend when I have more time to do this. Okay. What we're seeing here is a blocking high up here. This system is not going to really go anywhere, but maybe generally this way, I would say. System off the west coast, we talked about that, bringing more rainfall in this area. So Southern California is really getting their share of snow and rain, but with this southerly flow coming into here, likely gonna raise the freezing level quite high. All right, and so let's go switch to the other models, see how they depict all this. GFS, SREF, EPS, all in really good agreement, really. For the most part, they're all in good agreement about what's happening at this point. And this is 2 days from now, roughly. All right. The system here gets absorbed into the mean flow and loses a lot of its punch, right? Still a little bit of a short wave, not much energy, right? Heights are building again into Canada. It's going to be, going to melt some snow up here, guys. All right. And generally, the models still agree on this pattern, although a little bit differences, but in the placement of the core this low, right? But overall, pretty good agreement there. So let's move it through a little bit more. And this is Thursday, about this time, ridging over the east, ridging up into Canada, with maybe a trough trying to dig in here in the north from Canada, but don't see a lot of, I see maybe some evidence, but the heights are still above normal here. This system moves pretty far south here. We'll likely go into, whoops. Alright. Like I'm going to move in this direction, probably. Like swing through like this. Alright. So let's look at the other models. European Open Data, GFS is a little bit further south and west. AI, European AI. They all want to bring another trough here, diving down, right? Differences start to emerge here in the models, all right? So this is Thursday the 20th. Maybe at some troughiness a little bit here, about normal heights, right? So you would expect sensible weather to be pretty much about average in this area. I would imagine maybe some rainfall coming in, but this system gets stuck down here, back up. It's about, looks like it's about to cut off from the flow. All right. Write this up, go forward a little bit here. Maybe a weak low developing here on the 22nd. This is as far as this goes. Let me see if I can go to a previous. Okay, this is 00Z, which goes further out. Okay. These models don't, some of these models don't go that far out every run. So generally we're at the same scenario here. Canadian, European AI, EPS, European Ensemble, GFS, pretty good agreement here, although differences with placement of this low. And you see evidence of maybe a cold push up here to the north. High pressure along, well, heights. You see a high pressure center down here, right? So, and you see a kind of a general west-east storm track. Not a lot of troughiness, and this system here kind of fills, right? And this may be due to resolution of the models at this this far out. Okay, let's get a little further out. Generally, the models want to hang on to high pressure here in the east. This is the 24th, all right, which is next Monday. See right here, this is potentially some cold air swinging down GFS is the most bullish with this, which is a known bias with cold, okay, and warm. It tends to um, overdo this, so we know that. But overall, the pattern supports this, right? Okay, so moving through time, height rises here in the northeast with a trough starting to dig here in the west. The flow here, I'm not certain, is from the Arctic, so it's coming off the west coast. All right, so this is the 27th, which is Thanksgiving Day. You can be out in your shorts here, probably here in the northeast. Maybe be getting some snow out here in the west. We'll go over that in a minute. Surface analysis, right? This high pressure really does not want to give up at the mid-levels. So they flow generally here. GFS seems to be a little more progressive than the Canadian as well. When we get out past Thanksgiving time frame, it becomes more uncertain, but generally lower heights out here in the west and higher heights in the east. So now let's look at a different parameter here. 850 millibar temps. This gives us a good idea of where the warmest temps anomalies are, okay, compared to normal, right? So based on this is this far out. Let's go back to Thanksgiving. All right, because everybody's interested in that. You can see surface high generally out here, right, with a deep southerly flow. All right, warmer than normal, 850 millibar temps, right? And you have this boundary kind of like this. So if we switch back, yeah, there are some differences here, but you can see cold air pulled up here, right? Let's go through time and just see how this plays out. Cold air just wants to stay up in Canada, guys. It is just not wanting to move with this general west to east flow. And this is through the 1st of December. Yeah. So now I'm going to move over to surface. Temperatures. Surface mean temperatures. Okay. And go back to 27th. You see what I'm talking about here, where the warmest temps are and where that high pressure is, right? Colder out west here. The GFS is more aggressive with its cold push. It could be pretty brutal down out here, and yeah, I mean, I think that's likely we're going to get a cold push in the Mountain West. Whether it makes it further to the east, it's hard to tell, guys. Maybe, but these warm temps hold on really for the period. Not hot, but still warm, you know. Um, so these are mean temps. So you know, is just kind of a blend here, right? So when we look at precip through the period, all right, we can go back a little bit here. I know this is a long long video today, but I thought I'd get more detail today because I had time. So this is the beginning of it. Let's go back to 12Z. 18. Okay, we move forward with this. This is staying on the European a little while. See where the most precip amounts are expected, right? This is total precip, guys, okay? Average between all the members. See in the south, southeast, we're staying pretty dry here. The most precip expected generally in this area and the west coast and some of the northeast. We're getting through the 22nd here. Yeah, maybe getting some push of moisture to the south, but really where there's a boundary setting up, we have the most precip. In the deep south, Mississippi Valley, Ohio Valley, the northeast along the west coast. Yeah, so we get further out in time here. European's pretty bullish on precip amounts. But as far as the deep south goes, we're going to remain pretty dry here. This is through the 1st of December. So, yeah. Now let's look at snowfall. See if this has that in there. Winter weather, total snowfall. All right. This is through the 1st, total snowfall, right, through December 1st. Yeah. So, guys, I know we all want it to snow, but you can see where the boundary here is, and not a lot to be said for this. All right, so I'm going to move this through time here. See if I can go back. Let's go back to the beginning. Start at 6Z. Yeah. It's just switching through the models. Go through time with this. Oops. Sorry. We can run this through time real quick so we get an idea of what this is doing. All right, as far as where the snow builds up the most. But hard to get too excited about a lot of snow, other than the favorite areas of the Rockies and West. You can see what we're talking about here. This is to the 1st of December, so dang heat's on again in here. It's getting warm. I'm sweating. Yeah. Let me turn this off here, guys. Yeah, so here's a date 8 to 14 U.S. hazards outlook. Still indicating flooding is possible. This was released yesterday at 3 p.m. So flooding possible in that area. We kind of talked about that with our the model guidance there. Precip probabilities, slight risk of heavy precip along and inside the dotted line here. Let's make sure this is updated. Heavy snow, generally in the northern plains, the high plains, and in the Intermountain West and in the west coast here. High winds. This is crazy. Almost the whole country is expecting a possibility of high winds the 23rd through the 29th. So, that's pretty crazy. I don't remember ever seeing a graphic that almost encompasses the whole nation for high winds. I don't know what they quantify high winds as necessarily to meet this criteria. So, I guess I have to find out. Slight risk of below normal temps at 25th to 29th. We talked about that cold air pushing in here, Intermountain West and West Coast. 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. This will be updated later today, but you can see where the warmest temps are expected. Most of the nation, except for the desert Southwest, really. Precip, above normal precip expected along this area here. All right. So that really goes along with what we've been looking at, just a boundary setting up and systems moving across that boundary, bringing in moisture. So, 8 to 14 day temperature outlook goes along with what we've been talking about. Warmer than normal, likely east of the Rockies, west of the Rockies, below normal. And in the middle, normal chances of above or below normal temperatures. 8 to 14 day precip outlook. Above normal up here in the northern high plains and most of the central part and eastern part of the country, except to the west coast and maybe along the east coast. So that's it for that. And next, I'm going to go over the excessive rainfall outlook and the severe weather outlook, and that'll be it for today. As far as severe weather goes, this is a day 1 through 8 outlook. Just general thunderstorms expected in the green areas. But otherwise, right now, no other severe risk outlined, although they did note that in the coming days, maybe days 5 and 6, we could have some 15% probabilities come into play depending on the evolution of those systems. So we'll have to see how that goes. If we look at day 1, excessive rainfall along the west coast here, marginal slight risk, and then a small bullseye here, right? Day 2, slight risk moves further south, and with the marginal risk in these other areas. The marginal risk moves further eastward here into the desert Southwest. And you can see where the marginal risk is setting up here in Texas, generally, and the deep south. This is the 19th, 3 days from now. You can see a slight risk already outlined and what they were talking about here. So we're going to see how that plays out, but it's definitely may have a major flooding event coming up for this area in the coming days. So anyway, that's all I got, guys. Hope you have a good day, and hope you all enjoyed this. Like and subscribe if you I appreciate it if you would, and share with your friends. Thanks.